So when formulating marketing strategies, we need to have objectives in this area. So, like we have seen, I think the numbers shared with by Timothy, they would show that obviously, if you have an objective to grow the membership base, you follow a specific kind of strategy that you would employ. And obviously, if you're looking to raise awareness as one of those strategies, you have a specific strategy in that line. So just for the interest, obviously, to manage the time limits and to allow members to be asking questions, I'll focus obviously on activities that ZAMREN has been able to employ to increase membership in this case. Okay, I can see some comments coming up now. Okay, great. At least we are following each other. So for membership growth, you see that for all the services that have been aligned, you understand that NREN services are very generic. So what we have done at ZAMREN is to align value-added services that will support each particular service that we're actually providing to our members. And this obviously then highlights our uniqueness in the delivery of that service. For example, primary service being internet for every NREN, you find that that's a generic service for any other ISP you find on the market. So how do you differentiate yourself within this market to ensure that you are seen to be supporting education and research? So one of the ways that could be done is to provide hands-on training to end users and the primary custodians of that service within that institution. One of those stakeholders within an institution is ICT, stemming from the highest point, which is ICT director, going up to ICT administrator or systems engineers, as the case may be. Not knowing how other communities are, but predominantly in Zambia, you find that some of these services are being managed by a librarian, and they may not be well vested with managing networks and managing campuses. So by providing hands-on training and doing a bit of hand-holding at the point of delivering the service, that tends to align your stakeholders to appreciate the value that you're bringing to the institution, not just delivering internet and you think of it, you terminate into the server room and off the services, or you tell the education institution that you have delivered the service and that's it. That may put you at a very big disadvantage because every other ISP is doing just about that. They are just ending in the server room and off they go. And another thing that you would align with your internet services is by providing base or startup kits for usage. For example, you would provide a switch and access points, a cabinet where the switch will be terminated, the service will be terminating. That again gives a softer landing for the NREN into the education institution, with the understanding that the capex is very high for an institution to invest in a switch and get access points and all of those other equipment for the service to be used. Providing basic entry-level equipment tends to actually build that relationship as a value-added service. Obviously, depending on the capacity that the university is uptaking, you may provide more resources to be commensurate to what obviously the value you are getting from the university in that case. So that is in terms of value-added services on your primary service as internet. We have EduRoam, obviously, much as presented by Timothy here, so that we refer to his presentation. The one they are providing on the metro. In Zambia, what we are doing equally, we are deploying EduRoam in public places as well. So this allows users of internet to be able to continue with their work, be it at the mall or at the airport. You find that the service will be available. We are now proceeding to connect bus stations and other public spaces. How this is achieved, obviously, is through stakeholder engagement so that we do not incur any rental charges on those installations. What we then do is, because we bring these infrastructure custodians to be our partners, be it owned by the government or by the private sector, we engage them on the value of providing this service to the education and research community, and they're able to offer these places so that these installations are able to be achieved. Again, because EduRoam uses the authentication from the institution of origin, so users will still just be able to use the facility without paying as on the go in this case. So when you're arriving in Zambia, you'll find that you'll have EduRoam at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport in the international wing. You'll be able to continuously use EduRoam. And just nearby at the University of Zambia, as you come through, there's a big mall called East Park Mall. We have deployed EduRoam there. And all of these, we have engaged the owners of the infrastructure as partners, and we're working together to deliver this service. And we're able to manage it by ourselves, obviously with their authority as their custodians, and the basic services that they provide in this case for us to run these projects. And to mention here that the EduRoam project has already been covered across the country in all the 10 provinces of Zambia. So we are all present across the country, wherever you are entering from. If you are coming in from Tanzania on the other side, EduRoam is already available in the northern and Wapula provinces of Zambia. So these are some of the things that we are doing in that space. So again, because you are not just mentioning EduRoam within the campus, you are encouraging the members to say this benefit that you are receiving through this service will not just be found at your institution, but will be extended at no cost to other places where you are able to access it. So this creates value that is appreciated by researchers that are on the go, by learners that may not necessarily want to be stuck in the classroom or to continue their studies within the campus, but do other things, perhaps maybe things like shopping and all of those things. So they'll be at the mall and they'll still find EduRoam. Great value, but you still maintain the primary service in this case. Another item that we have obviously proceeded to implement is to create a bit of differentiation in the offering itself. Within taking the example of internet as a primary service, to differentiate the offering in terms of how are you delivering the service, what more can you do other than delivering obviously to specific areas. To complement this, we have an offering that we have designed and we co-finance it with the institution of interest. This one we're calling the 50-50 cost sharing initiative, where institutions are able to partner with us to implement a wider coverage of internet within the institution, which includes student hostels. So institutions are able to partner with ZAMREN, and we finance only on the part of the laying of the fiber. Then they're able to finance the rest of the other engagement in terms of the end user equipment. These are access points and other peripheral hardware that may not relate to fiber in this case. So this again differentiates the offering, where from your traditional ISP, you're able to position yourself because you are then supporting the institution to establish a stronger base for ICT maturity. ICT maturity, obviously, this relates to basically the upgrade of equipment instead of relying on obsolete old equipment in this case. So institutions will be able to view your NREN in a different light, because then you have not just ended at the server room, you have proceeded to go to their hostels, you have proceeded to go to their library, you have proceeded to go to the classroom, and you're ensuring that your service is being enjoyed by everyone across the campus. And you're supporting them by showing the value that you're not only interested in them paying for their capex, but you're also coming in with financing that you show for it. And you actually manage the contract in this case, so that the implementation is within your control and the value of the whole setup is realized in the timelines that are controlled within the NREN. So this is an area that obviously you can leverage on and differentiate yourself as an NREN. A highlight that has been shared in terms of stakeholder engagement here, which is a more narrowed down strategy which has been shared, is personal setting. But obviously, we can extend the value of stakeholder engagement by engaging, obviously, the regulators and government departments, because different institutions and different educational institutions will lie in a specific jurisdiction within the government. For example, you have nursing schools and hospitals. Those will be the custodians of perhaps Ministry of Health, depending on how your government structure is. So you want to ensure that you have engagement at that level, at the highest level in this case, with the ministries and the government of the day in this case, in their specific ministry, where you then understand their needs and what they want to achieve in those spaces. Then you can tailor-make the solutions for that kind of set of member institutions. You have private institutions, and these may have a high turnaround time in terms of service requirements and support. They may need 24/7 support. So with that in mind, because you have already engaged, here we have the Higher Education Authority that regulates all of these higher learning institutions. So because you have that relationship at that highest level, you're able to understand the needs and the standards that the regulator requires of these particular institutions in this set of category.